Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy, and Kara's not going to be here this week, unfortunately. She is just returning from being out of town, and I am leaving to go out of town tomorrow. So it was just decided that it would just be easier for me to go ahead and do the one this week. But fear not, she will be returning for our next episode, I promise. Like I said, our schedules have just been really crazy with her being out of town for the past 3 weeks and me getting ready to leave out of town. So, like I said, our schedule will be back to normal, but at least I was able to put out this episode so you guys would have a continuous run of episodes. So this week, I found some pretty crazy, strange, and unusual topic for us to talk about. This week was surfing the web, trying to find some content or some interesting topic for us to talk about. And I came across these two stories about two ladies that married a ghost, like really real life, legit married a ghost. And I thought it would be interesting to cover that today. I mean, their stories are certainly interesting to say the least. And to see how you all felt about, would you ever marry a ghost? I mean, I don't know that I would. I'd feel like the relationship would be very one-sided with you always, I don't know, just always talking and never having, somebody answer you back or whatever. The one individual, she mentioned that she began to realize that the ghost or spirit would never be there for her when she really needed them. Like you do when you have a partner, you rely on them to be there to get you through the tough times and that. And the other lady, apparently he was very deceptive in whether or not he was a good spirit or a bad spirit. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with our stories today. And we'll start off with the first story about a woman who married a 300-year-old ghost. So our story starts with this lady who married this 300-year ghost pirate named Jack. Now, Jack was considered an energy vampire spirit because basically he would suck the life force / energy out of her. So the lady's name was Amanda Teague, and she was from Ireland, and she thought that her marriage to this 300-year-old spirit would last forever. But she came to find out that things were not like what they seemed, and Jack basically lied to her about, his true intentions and whether or not he was a good spirit versus a bad spirit. So Amanda Teague was meditating the first time that she happened to meet this ghost of the 300-year-old Haitian pirate named Jack. She thought it was rather rude of him to interrupt her while she was in the middle of her meditation. So she told him to go away. So Jack listened that time and he left. Then he came back a second time. And then by the third time that he had come back while she was busy meditating, she decided that it was now time to talk to him. So after months of talking with this ghost that she believed to be Jack Teague, who she later claimed inspired the character of Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And it should be noted that experts challenge her claim to this. They're not don't think that that's 100% true, and they were doing some research and finding holes in her theory. But anyway, she claims that she looked it all up and Googled it and found him on there. But has nothing really to do with the story. But I thought I should mention that, that's just her claim that he apparently was the character that inspired Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, Teague's beliefs, which fall under New Age spirituality, tests the boundaries of what people are willing to accept. And you know what? That's fine. If that's what she believed in, more power to her. Not everybody believes that, and that's okay too. Believe what you want to believe. So Teague started exploring spirituality after her 3-month-old son Thomas died. Now, her son Thomas died of sudden infant death syndrome in 2010. And at that time, she started to explore different religions. And her journey of spiritual discovery led her to Jack. And in July of 2016, on a boat in the Atlantic Ocean in a ceremony performed by a shaman, she ended up marrying Jack. So after she had met her future spirit husband in 2015, the pair would often go to Dublin for romantic getaways. And on these getaways, apparently they were like a normal couple, and she had intimate relations, supposedly, with the spirit. She says that they would argue and have sex like any other normal couple. I don't know how having sex with air is like a normal couple, but hey, whatever floats her boat, I guess. So Teague says that she and Jack married in international waters in July of 2016, and a medium spoke for Jack to give his consent to being married to her. A shaman then performed the ceremony for them. Teague also says that her and Jack also had a pagan hand-fastening wedding ceremony when they got back to Ireland, in which 2 witches would wrap a cord around the couple's joined hands to symbolize the binding of the pair. Although I wonder how real that particular ceremony was when Jack didn't have a real hand to tie the rope around. I don't know. This one's just a little hard for me to believe. I don't know about you, but yeah, it's a little out there. But you know what? To each their own. So 2 weeks after she married Jack, she started to get sick. And as the months went on, she was starting to get sicker and sicker, to the point that her health got to be so bad that she ended up in the hospital with sepsis. And sepsis is when like every major organ in your body starts to shut down. And she also was having lots of bad luck as soon as she married Jack. She said it basically convinced her that her husband was causing all this, and she said that Jack was a powerful spirit who was capable of turning on and off lights in the home. He could also turn on and off the radio, and sometimes he was able to move objects. So his strength was getting stronger and stronger as she was getting to be weak and weaker. So after all this happened and she almost died, she finally decided that it was probably time for her to get rid of Jack because he was not what he told her that he was. And she felt like that her life, was getting worse and more strange and ominous things were happening around her, not good things either. So she decided that she was done with Jack and she was going to call it off. So she asked Jack to leave her home, but he told her that he would kill her if she tried to escape. So she decided that she was going to cut all ties with Jack, and a few months later, she went through a soul extraction, which is similar to an exorcism, and that's where you kind of pull the spirit that is attached to your body away from you. And, kind of like a cleansing or whatever. Teague said that eventually Jack left, and as soon as he did, her health has improved. Now, she says she has not heard or felt Jack since then, and she basically came out to tell people that, they should not try to contact any spirits. And, she highly recommended people not to date a spirit, that it wasn't worth it in the end, that, bad things would happen. So that's our first story. Now, our second story comes to us from England, and it actually is a woman that is a singer. I guess she's kind of famous or well known in over in England. But anyway, so the story goes, a woman claims to have been married to and then divorced a ghost, and she now has a possessed clown doll, but she says her ex-ghost husband does not like the clown and is said to be jealous. So here's her story. So the singer's name is Brocarde, and she is from Oxfordshire in England, and she was married to a ghost named Edwardo, who was a Victorian-era ghost, and she was married to him for like 5 months. The singer met the paranormal hottie, who was a soldier, on a dark and stormy night as he entered her body as she was struggling to sleep to the heavy rain and thunder. Despite Edwardo's confessing his love to her on their first meeting in her bed, the relationship proved to be lifeless in the end as the charming ghost's true colors shone through. Now, it turns out Edwardo, who was in his late 30s, had the hots for someone other than Brocarde at the wedding, and she found out on her wedding day when she caught him staring at one of the wedding guests. And who was this wedding guest, you may be wondering? That was at their wedding that had Edwardo all wound up and staring at them. Well, it was none other than Marilyn Monroe. Yep, you heard it here. Marilyn Monroe was one of the famous people that showed up for their wedding, and he evidently had the hots for her and kept staring at her. It says on their wedding day, he made really inappropriate comments about spotting Marilyn Monroe's ghost in the church. Bacardi began to wonder why Edward proposed to her if he wanted to date a different ghost. She began to feel like being married to a ghost was becoming her whole identity, and she couldn't make music or do any other projects without people mentioning it. So she became very frustrated because anybody ever wanted to talk about was the fact that she had married a ghost, which, come on, let's be real here. That's very different and unusual. And I can see why people were very interested in it. And not, wanting to talk about the music that she was making or these other projects that she had lined up. So the couple, the couple got married in the Asylum Chapel in London on Halloween on October 31st of 2022. Now, before the marriage, Bacardi said that the relationship felt saucy and sexy. But as it turned out, Bacardi and Edwardo were not a match made in heaven after making things official at the altar. Taking the relationship to the marriage level, knowing that he couldn't commit properly, and knowing he wasn't going to be present all the time, highlighted the flaws to her in their marriage, she said. She said in the beginning, him not showing up whenever she wanted or needed him was kind of interesting. But when she needed him most, he would drift off for days and not be present for key moments in her life. And that made her start to resent him and made her realize that, hey, maybe, this wasn't the smartest thing to be doing. So she ended up divorcing him by an exorcism, she said, to escape the living hell. So apparently after they got married, she said that Edwardo became very violent and bad things started happening in and around her house, and she was getting to the point where she was worried that she felt like her life was threatened. So Bacardi decided she was going to turn to an exorcist to end her tumultuous marriage after 5 miserable months of being married to Edwardo. The exorcism took place in the Asylum Chapel, which is the same place that they got hitched. She said the exorcism took several hours to complete and was harrowing and unearthly. She says, I lost control of every limb, and it was as if I was under third-party control. It was earth-shattering. Every part of my body was shaking. I was convulsing, sweating, and feeling lightheaded. It felt like I was trying to vomit out the devil. Now Bacardi is hopeful she can put Edwardo behind her and is ready to start her life anew. She said she is full of joy now and has been reborn and is finally excited for life. Now, in a strange turn of events, though, the singer-songwriter has taken possession of a possessed clown after forming a connection with it during a stay at the Clown Motel in Nevada. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever seen an episode of one of the ghost shows talking about or investigating the Clown Motel, but that's supposed to be one of the most haunted places or in the state of Nevada anyway. And it is said that there is a particular clown doll there that has negative energy attached to it. And it likes to create havoc with people that are staying there on the property or to visit the Clown Motel. It's also interesting to note that the Clown Motel happens to be right across the road. Like, you can walk across the road and you are in an old mining graveyard. And there are lots of people that say they see apparitions and stuff in the graveyard. So after she was touring the USA with this clown doll, she returned back to England and had worked out a deal with the Clown Motel that she wanted to conduct paranormal investigations on the clown doll. So she brought it back to her home in England, but her ex-husband, Edwardo, is not pleased. And he does not want the clown doll in the house. Apparently he does, I guess he thinks that there's something negative attached to the clown doll. And in the article that I was reading, it said that she became attached or interested in this particular clown doll because of the story that she was getting from it. The clown doll told her that it wanted to be a famous clown But it ended up, it was only a circus clown, and people didn't take him seriously when he was alive. And he's got a lot of pent up rage about that, I guess. And he's not happy that, his life turned out the way it did. So she says that Edward has been pretty calm and quiet with her, in the home, and about her communicating with other spirits, and rarely reaches out to her or has fits about her contacting or talking to other spirits. But when the clown came home, Edwardo was not happy at all, and he does not like this clown. In fact, he will sit and watch the clown, she said, and sometimes she finds the clown by the door, and she's 100% sure that it's Edwardo that's dropping this clown by the door. So that is the saga of what's going on right now with this singer named Brocardes, and this saga of her and Edwardo and this kind of love triangle and this clown doll. She did say you can check out her website. It's called Bacardi.com, and she's supposedly going to have a camera on this doll as she does some investigations on it, I guess, to see, what type of spirits attached to it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so those are the 2 stories that I have for you guys today. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. People getting married to ghosts and having relations with ghosts and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm a very visual person, so not being able to see something there, it would be really hard for me to be able to do what these ladies did. But you know what? To each his own. And if that's what they believe in, I have no problem with that. That's fine by me. But would you, if you had the opportunity, or if you fell in love with a spirit, would you marry a spirit or a ghost? I don't know. I like I said, I wouldn't. So anyway, if you would like to reach out to us and tell us what if you would or wouldn't, we'd love to hear from you. I mean, we're always looking for stories from our listeners or to hear from you all. And I am getting ready to take off on vacation. We are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to be going to Ocean City, Maryland. So there is a ghost tour that I'm trying to book. We're staying in Alexandria, Virginia, and that's supposedly a very haunted town, and I'm hoping to book a ghost tour while I'm there. But I'm hoping to have some stories to tell you when I get back. Like I said, next time Kara will be back with us, and hopefully she'll have some stories to tell us too, about where she was and what was going on and all that good stuff. We will check you guys all out next time. Remember to leave a review. Those things help us get discovered. Don't forget, we have tons of other stories that are out there on our podcast. So, check them out. Oh, and also I am excited to announce that we are now on YouTube. So you can find most all of our episodes on YouTube. You can find us at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast on there. Like I said, and this new episode will also be on there. So be sure to check it out. Be sure to follow us on there so you can, or subscribe so you know when new episodes come out. And I think that's all for this week. So take care. Everybody enjoy your summer, and we'll be back again in 2 weeks. So if you enjoyed this episode of the Two Scaredy Cats, be sure to like and follow us. Either here on Spotify, or you can like us now on follow us on YouTube or on Instagram. And remember, curiosity didn't kill these 2 scaredy cats.